I never imagined trucks this rare even existed. Built in incredibly small numbers and almost forgotten, these 7 rare pickups are true hidden gems of automotive history.
When I first discovered the 1965 Mercedes-Benz L319 pickup, I honestly had to look twice. Because when most people think about Mercedes-Benz, they picture elegant luxury sedans, high-performance sports cars, or expensive SUVs. A classic Mercedes pickup? That doesn't usually come to mind. Yet decades before luxury pickups became popular, Mercedes-Benz quietly built one of the most unusual commercial vehicles in its history. And today, it's so rare that even lifelong Mercedes enthusiasts have never seen one in person. The story of the L319 began in the 1950s when Europe was rebuilding after World War II. Businesses needed dependable commercial vehicles that were compact, economical, and tough enough to handle everyday work. Mercedes-Benz responded by introducing the L319, its very first light commercial vehicle. Most people remember it as a delivery van or small cargo truck. But what many don't realize is that Mercedes also offered a pickup version, and that's where things become really interesting. Unlike the flashy pickups we know today, the L319 pickup wasn't built to attract attention. It was designed for people who relied on their vehicles to earn a living. Small businesses, construction crews, utility companies, farmers, municipal workers, anyone who needed a dependable work truck without the size of a heavy commercial vehicle. At first glance, the truck looked completely different from American pickups of the same era. The cab sat much farther forward, giving it a cab-over appearance that maximized cargo space while keeping the overall vehicle compact. This clever design made the L319 incredibly easy to maneuver through narrow European streets, crowded city centers, and tight industrial yards where larger trucks simply couldn't fit. Its short nose wasn't just a styling choice, it was practical engineering. Mercedes wanted every centimeter of the vehicle to be useful. That forward control layout also gave drivers excellent visibility, making the truck easier to position in busy loading areas and construction sites. Under the body, the L319 carried the engineering philosophy Mercedes-Benz had already become famous for. Everything was designed for durability. The chassis was strong. The suspension was built to carry heavy loads day after day. The engines, whether gasoline or diesel, earned a reputation for reliability that quickly made the truck popular among professional users. The diesel versions became especially respected. They weren't fast, they weren't powerful by modern standards, but they seemed almost impossible to wear out. Owners often joked that the engine would keep running long before the body had rusted away. Mechanics appreciated the truck for another reason. It was simple. There were no computers, no electronic driver aids, no complicated systems requiring specialized equipment. Routine maintenance could be performed with basic tools, and many owners kept their trucks working for decades through regular servicing alone. That mechanical simplicity became one of the L319's greatest strengths. Inside the cab, comfort came second to practicality. The dashboard was clean and functional. The controls were easy to understand. Everything was positioned for drivers who spent long days delivering goods or traveling between job sites. Mercedes wasn't trying to create a luxury vehicle. It was building a dependable partner for work. And in that role, the L319 performed exceptionally well. So why is it so rare today? The answer is actually quite simple. These trucks worked for a living. Unlike sports cars or luxury sedans that owners carefully preserved, the L319 pickup spent most of its life carrying heavy cargo, driving through bad weather, and working long hours. Many accumulated enormous mileage. When they eventually became old, owners usually replaced them with newer commercial vehicles. Very few people imagined that one day collectors would search for them. As a result, countless L319 pickups were scrapped after decades of faithful service. Only a small number survived. Finding an original 1965 Mercedes-Benz L319 pickup today is incredibly difficult. Many collectors have spent years searching for one without success. Even at major classic Mercedes events, they are rarely seen. When one does appear, it immediately attracts attention, not because it's flashy, but because so few people even knew Mercedes built a pickup like this. Today, the L319 represents an important chapter in Mercedes-Benz history. It reminds us that the company wasn't only building luxury cars, it was also developing hard-working commercial vehicles that helped businesses across Europe rebuild and grow. The 1965 Mercedes-Benz L319 pickup may not be the most famous Mercedes ever built. It may not be the fastest or the most expensive, but it is certainly one of the rarest. A forgotten horse, a beautifully engineered commercial vehicle, and proof that sometimes the most fascinating Mercedes models aren't the ones everyone remembers. They're the ones almost everyone forgot.
Number 2. 1963 Datsun 320 pickup. When I first discovered the 1963 Datsun 320 pickup, I honestly couldn't believe how much history was hidden inside such a small truck. At first glance, it doesn't look particularly impressive. It's compact, simple, almost modest compared to the massive American pickups that dominated the roads during the 1960s. But don't let its size fool you. This little truck helped lay the foundation for one of the world's biggest automotive companies. Long before Nissan became a global name, long before millions of people trusted the Frontier, Hardbody, or Titan, there was Datsun. And one of its most important vehicles was the humble 320 pickup. During the early 1960s, Japanese manufacturers were still trying to earn the trust of customers around the world. In North America especially, most people believed that bigger automatically meant better. Large V8 engines, heavy steel bodies, huge cargo beds, that was the formula American buyers knew. A small pickup from Japan didn't seem like it had much of a chance. Many people laughed at the idea. They assumed it couldn't survive real work. They thought it was too small, too light, and too underpowered to compete. But the Datsun 320 quietly proved them wrong. Instead of trying to outmuscle the American giants, Datsun focused on something completely different: efficiency, reliability, affordability. The truck was easy to drive, inexpensive to own, and remarkably economical at a time when operating costs mattered more than ever to many small businesses. Under the hood was a simple 4-cylinder engine. It wasn't built for speed. It wasn't meant to win races. Its job was to start every morning, carry a load, and keep running with minimal maintenance. And that's exactly what it did. Owners quickly discovered that the engine was incredibly dependable. Basic oil changes, routine maintenance, and occasional repairs were often enough to keep these little trucks working year after year. Mechanics appreciated the straightforward engineering. There were no complicated electronic systems, no computers, no expensive technology. Almost everything could be repaired with ordinary tools and a little mechanical knowledge. For farmers, gardeners, delivery companies, and tradespeople, that simplicity became one of the truck's biggest advantages. The 1963 Datsun 320 pickup wasn't luxurious. Inside, the cab was basic: a simple bench seat, easy-to-read gauges, straightforward controls. Nothing fancy, but everything had a purpose. It was designed to help people work, not impress their neighbors. And despite its compact dimensions, the truck could carry surprisingly heavy loads for its size. Its light weight made it easy to maneuver through narrow streets, small farms, crowded job sites, and places where larger pickups often struggled. That combination of practicality and reliability earned the Datsun 320 a loyal following. As more people discovered the truck, Datsun slowly began building a reputation that would eventually grow into worldwide success. In many ways, the 320 became one of the vehicles that introduced countless drivers to Japanese engineering. It showed that a small truck could still be dependable, that good design mattered more than sheer horsepower, and that a humble little pickup could earn the respect of hard-working people simply by refusing to quit. The 1963 Datsun 320 pickup wasn't remembered because it was the biggest truck on the road. It wasn't the fastest, it wasn't the most powerful. It became a legend because it did exactly what its owners asked of it, day after day, year after year, with almost no complaints. And that's why the few survivors left today are more than just rare classics. They're living reminders of where one of the world's greatest truck stories truly began. Number 3. 1956 Austin Gypsy pickup. When I first discovered the 1956 Austin Gypsy pickup,
I couldn't believe how forgotten this truck had become. Because this wasn't just another small British work vehicle, it was Austin's ambitious attempt to challenge one of the toughest and most respected off-road machines of its time, a truck designed to compete with the legendary Land Rover. But despite having clever engineering and serious capability, the Austin Gypsy never became the success Austin hoped for, and today, the few surviving examples are among the rarest classic pickups from Europe. In the years after World War II, the world was changing. Countries needed affordable, durable vehicles that could handle difficult conditions. Farmers needed machines that could cross muddy fields. Businesses needed dependable transportation. Military and government organizations needed rugged vehicles that could survive almost anywhere. In Britain, one vehicle had already become famous for this purpose: the Land Rover. It was simple, strong, reliable, and extremely popular among people who needed serious off-road ability. Austin saw an opportunity. The company believed it could build a competitor that offered the same toughness while adding more comfort and advanced engineering. That idea created the Austin Gypsy. When it was introduced, the Gypsy looked like a serious machine. It had a boxy, practical design that immediately showed its purpose. This wasn't a vehicle built for luxury. It wasn't designed for city streets. It was created for farms, construction sites, rough trails, and demanding work. The pickup version added even more practicality by giving owners a useful cargo area while keeping the vehicle compact and maneuverable. One of the most interesting things about the Austin Gypsy was its engineering. Unlike many traditional utility vehicles of the time, Austin tried something different. The company developed an advanced suspension system designed to improve both comfort and off-road ability. The goal was simple: create a vehicle that could handle rough terrain without punishing the driver on normal roads. This was a bold idea in the 1950s. Many rugged vehicles sacrificed comfort completely, but Austin wanted the Gypsy to be capable and civilized at the same time. Under the hood, the truck used simple, dependable engines designed for everyday reliability. They weren't powerful by modern standards, they weren't built for speed, but they provided enough strength for hauling, climbing, and working in difficult environments. The mechanical design was straightforward, making maintenance easier for owners who depended on their vehicles far from major cities. Farmers and businesses appreciated that kind of simplicity. A vehicle that could be repaired without complicated equipment was extremely valuable. The interior followed the same practical philosophy. The cabin was basic but functional. The driver sat upright with good visibility. The controls were simple. Everything was designed around getting work done. There were no unnecessary distractions, no luxury features, just a capable machine ready for another day of hard use. However, the Austin Gypsy faced one enormous challenge. The Land Rover already had a strong reputation. Many buyers trusted the proven design they already knew. Convincing customers to choose a newer and less established alternative was extremely difficult. The Austin Gypsy also had higher production costs, which made it harder to compete. While the engineering was interesting, the market was not easy. Many potential buyers simply stayed with Land Rover. As a result, Austin Gypsy sales remained limited. The pickup version became especially rare because only a small number were produced compared with more popular utility vehicles. Over time, many examples disappeared, and just like other hard-working vehicles, they were not treated as collectibles. They were tools. They spent years carrying equipment, hauling materials, and working in difficult conditions. Many were eventually worn out. Others were abandoned when parts became harder to find. Few owners imagined that these unusual trucks would one day become highly sought-after classics. Today, finding a 1956 Austin Gypsy pickup is incredibly difficult. Even classic vehicle enthusiasts in Europe may go years without seeing one. When a restored example appears, it attracts attention because it represents a forgotten chapter of British automotive history. The Austin Gypsy is interesting because it shows what happens when a company tries to challenge an established legend. It wasn't a bad vehicle. In fact, it had many innovative ideas. It was simply competing against a machine that had already captured the hearts of customers. Looking back today, the 1956 Austin Gypsy pickup deserves far more recognition. It was rugged, It was innovative. It was built with serious off-road ambitions. But history often remembers the winners and forgets the competitors that came close. The Austin Gypsy pickup may not have changed the world like Land Rover did, but every surviving example tells an incredible story. A story of bold engineering, a story of a company willing to take risks, and a story of a rare British pickup that almost disappeared completely. Today, seeing one is like discovering a hidden piece of automotive history, a forgotten challenger that proved it had the strength to compete, even if the world never fully noticed.
Number 4. 1955 Chevrolet Cameo Carrier. When I first discovered the 1955 Chevrolet Cameo Carrier, I couldn't believe Chevrolet was already thinking about luxury pickups almost 70 years ago. Because this wasn't just a truck, it was Chevrolet asking a question that almost nobody in the 1950s was asking. What if a pickup could be more than just a work machine? At a time when most trucks were built with one purpose, to haul, carry, and work, the Cameo Carrier arrived with a completely different idea. It was stylish, it was comfortable, it looked more like a passenger car with a cargo bed attached. And that unusual idea made it one of the most important and rarest pickups Chevrolet ever created. In the early 1950s, pickup trucks were simple machines. They were bought by farmers, workers, and businesses. A truck was expected to be strong, reliable, and affordable. Nobody expected a pickup to look beautiful. Nobody expected it to have premium styling. And almost nobody was willing to pay extra for one. But Chevrolet noticed something changing. More Americans were using trucks not only for work, but also for personal transportation. People wanted vehicles that could serve multiple purposes. A truck that could haul equipment during the week, but still look good driving into town on the weekend. Chevrolet decided to explore that idea. The result was the Cameo Carrier, introduced as part of the new Task Force truck line. And immediately it looked different from everything else on the road. The biggest difference was the bed. Traditional pickups had exposed metal rear fenders that clearly separated the cargo area from the cab, but Chevrolet gave the Cameo Carrier smooth fiberglass bedsides that flowed naturally with the body. The result was a much cleaner, more modern appearance. Instead of looking like a basic work truck, it looked like a carefully designed personal vehicle. The styling was so advanced that many people today still find it attractive. The rounded body lines, the two-tone paint options, the chrome details, the passenger car-inspired design. Everything about the Cameo suggested that Chevrolet wanted truck owners to feel proud of what they were driving. Inside, the same philosophy continued. The dashboard looked more like something from a Chevrolet passenger car than a traditional work truck. The seating was improved. The overall experience felt more civilized. This was a truck designed for people who wanted practicality without giving up style. Underneath the beautiful appearance, however, the Cameo Carrier remained a capable Chevrolet pickup. It used the strong foundation of the Task Force series. The chassis was durable. The suspension was built for real work. The engines were proven Chevrolet power plants known for reliability. Buyers could choose dependable six-cylinder engines or the increasingly popular small block V8. That meant the Cameo wasn't just a pretty truck. It could still perform the jobs people expected from a Chevrolet pickup. It could haul, it could tow, it could work. But there was one major problem. The Cameo Carrier was expensive, much more expensive than a regular pickup. And in the 1950s, most truck buyers didn't understand why they should spend extra money on a vehicle that was supposed to be used for work. A farmer needed a truck to carry equipment. A contractor needed a truck to transport materials. Paying more for fiberglass sides and premium styling seemed unnecessary. The Cameo Carrier was ahead of its time. The idea was brilliant, but the market wasn't ready. Sales remained limited. Production numbers were much smaller than Chevrolet's standard pickups. And because so few were built, surviving examples became extremely valuable decades later. The irony is that many original buyers probably never imagined they owned a future collector vehicle. They simply used them like any other truck. They carried tools,
They hauled supplies. They drove them through rain, snow, and rough conditions. Many were eventually modified, damaged, or scrapped after years of hard work. Nobody was saving them. Nobody thought a stylish pickup from the 1950s would become a legend. That's why finding an original 1955 Chevrolet Cameo Carrier today is such a special experience. Collectors search for these trucks because they represent the beginning of something much bigger. Long before luxury trucks became common, long before manufacturers created premium pickup trims with leather interiors and advanced technology, Chevrolet was already experimenting with the idea of a pickup as a lifestyle vehicle. The Cameo Carrier helped prove that a pickup could be practical and attractive at the same time. It opened the door for future generations of stylish trucks. Looking back today, the 1955 Chevrolet Cameo Carrier was not a failure. It was simply too early. It introduced an idea before most buyers were ready to accept it. A pickup didn't have to be just a tool. It could also be something you enjoyed owning, something you were proud to drive, something with personality. And that's exactly why the Cameo remains so fascinating. It wasn't the biggest truck. It wasn't the strongest. It wasn't the most common, but it was one of the first pickups to prove that trucks could have style. A beautiful experiment from Chevrolet, a rare piece of American automotive history, and a reminder that sometimes the vehicles ahead of their time become the most unforgettable ones.
Number 5. 1958 Dodge D100 Sweptside. When I first discovered the 1958 Dodge D100 Sweptside, I honestly thought someone had modified it in a custom shop, because no normal pickup truck from the 1950s was supposed to look like this. Those dramatic rear fins, that flashy body design, that passenger car-inspired styling. It looked more like a futuristic show car than a working truck. But the craziest part is the Dodge didn't build just one experimental prototype. They actually sold it to customers, straight from the factory. The Dodge D100 Sweptside was one of the boldest and strangest pickups of the 1950s, a truck that tried to combine the practicality of a work vehicle with the excitement and style of America's growing obsession with automobiles. And even though buyers didn't understand it at the time, history has turned it into one of the most collectible classic pickups ever created. In the late 1950s, American car design was changing dramatically. The space race was influencing everything. Manufacturers were obsessed with futuristic shapes, chrome, and aircraft-inspired styling. Cars were becoming longer, lower, and more dramatic. Huge tail fins became symbols of modern design. But pickup trucks were usually left behind. Most trucks still looked like simple work machines. They were built for farms, businesses, and construction, not for style. Dodge decided to challenge that idea. The company looked at its passenger cars and asked, why can't a pickup have the same personality? The answer was the Sweptside. Instead of creating a completely new body from scratch, Dodge used an interesting approach. The company took the regular D100 pickup and combined it with styling pieces inspired by its passenger cars. The most noticeable feature was the rear body design. The Sweptside borrowed rear quarter panels from the Dodge station wagon lineup, giving the truck those famous tail fins and smooth flowing lines. The result was unlike anything else on the road. From the front, it looked like a pickup. From the side, it almost looked like a custom-built cruiser. It was a truck wearing a luxury car's clothes, and that was exactly what made it so unusual. The styling wasn't just a small detail, it completely changed the personality of the vehicle. The tall fins, the sweeping side panels, the bright chrome, the available two-tone paint combinations. Everything about the Sweptside was designed to attract attention, and it certainly did. People noticed it everywhere it went, but attention doesn't always equal success. The biggest problem was that truck buyers weren't ready for this idea. In 1958, most people purchased pickups because they needed them for work. They wanted durability, they wanted practicality, they wanted value. The Sweptside offered something different. It offered style, but many buyers didn't see the reason to pay extra for a truck that looked fancy. Farmers and workers often preferred more traditional designs, and people who wanted stylish vehicles usually chose passenger cars instead.
The Sweptside found itself caught between two worlds, too stylish for traditional truck buyers, too practical for people looking for a true luxury vehicle. Underneath the wild appearance, however, it remained a capable Dodge pickup. The chassis was strong, the suspension was designed for real work, the engines provided dependable power. It wasn't just a decoration, it could still haul cargo and perform everyday truck duties. But the unusual styling became its defining feature. And because sales were limited, relatively few were produced. Many examples that were built did not survive. Some worked for decades until they were worn out. Others were modified by owners who didn't realize they had a future collectible. Some were simply forgotten as newer trucks replaced them. Today, that is completely changed. A well-preserved 1958 Dodge D100 Sweptside is considered one of the most desirable classic pickups from the 1950s. Collectors search for them because they represent an era of automotive creativity when manufacturers weren't afraid to experiment. The Sweptside wasn't created because customers demanded it. It was created because Dodge wanted to see what was possible. And sometimes those are the vehicles that become the most memorable. Looking back, the Dodge D100 Sweptside was actually ahead of its time. Modern manufacturers now create luxury pickups with premium interiors, unique styling, and special editions designed to attract attention. But Dodge was experimenting with that idea more than 60 years ago. They were trying to prove that a truck could be practical and stylish at the same time. The 1958 Dodge D100 Sweptside may not have been a huge sales success when new, but history has been much kinder to it. Today, it is remembered as one of America's most unusual pickups, a factory-built custom, a truck with car-like personality, a machine that looked too wild for its own era, and proof that sometimes the vehicles people ignore today become the legends collectors chase tomorrow.
Number 6. 1939 Studebaker Coupe Express. When I first discovered the 1939 Studebaker Coupe Express, I couldn't believe someone actually built a pickup truck that looked this elegant before World War II. Because this wasn't a typical work truck. It wasn't designed to disappear into a farm field or spend its entire life carrying heavy equipment. Studebaker created something completely different. A pickup that looked like it belonged outside a luxury hotel instead of a construction site. A truck that combined the usefulness of a cargo bed with the style and comfort of a premium automobile. And today, because so few survived, the Studebaker Coupe Express has become one of the rarest and most fascinating pre-war American pickups ever built. In the late 1930s, most pickup trucks were simple machines. They were designed with one purpose: work. They had basic bodies, minimal comfort, and styling was usually an afterthought. Manufacturers focused on strength, durability, and low cost. But Studebaker decided to take a completely different approach. Instead of asking, how can we build the cheapest work truck, Studebaker asked, what if a pickup could be something people actually wanted to own? That unusual idea created the Coupe Express. The first thing that made it stand out was the design. At a time when many trucks looked like simple boxes on wheels, the Studebaker had smooth curves, flowing lines, and a sense of elegance rarely seen in commercial vehicles. The front end looked more like a stylish passenger car than a traditional pickup. The grille was carefully shaped, the fenders flowed beautifully into the body. The overall profile looked low, sleek, and surprisingly modern for 1939. From certain angles, it was easy to forget that you were looking at a truck. It almost looked like a coupe that someone had transformed into a pickup. And that was exactly the idea. Inside the cab, Studebaker continued the passenger car philosophy. The interior was far more refined than what most truck drivers were used to. The dashboard had a more elegant appearance, the seating was designed for comfort, the materials and details gave drivers the feeling that they were sitting in a premium automobile rather than a basic work vehicle. This was a truck for someone who wanted practicality without sacrificing style. But underneath the beautiful design, the Coupe Express still had to perform as a pickup.
Studebaker gave it a strong chassis and dependable mechanical components. It was capable of carrying cargo, making deliveries, and handling everyday business tasks. Small companies and independent workers could use it during the week and still enjoy driving it after work. That combination was rare. The Coupe Express was not just a tool, it was a vehicle with personality. But unfortunately, being ahead of its time came with a price. The market was not ready for such an expensive and stylish pickup. Many traditional truck buyers wanted something cheaper and more practical. They didn't see the value in paying extra for luxury styling on a work vehicle. At the same time, people looking for stylish cars often simply bought a regular coupe or sedan. The Coupe Express found itself in a difficult position. It was too sophisticated for many truck buyers and too practical for traditional luxury car customers. Then, history made things even harder. The late 1930s were followed by World War II. The automotive industry changed completely. Factories shifted toward military production, civilian vehicles became less important. Many vehicles from this era were used heavily, neglected, or eventually scrapped. The Studebaker Coupe Express suffered the same fate. Owners didn't preserve them as collectibles. They used them, they repaired them, they worked them until they were gone. Many disappeared during and after the war years. That is why surviving examples are so rare today. Finding an original 1939 Studebaker Coupe Express is like finding a forgotten piece of American automotive art. Collectors don't just appreciate it because it's rare, they love it because it represents a moment when manufacturers were willing to experiment. Before luxury trucks became a normal part of the market, Studebaker was already exploring the idea. A pickup could be practical, a pickup could be comfortable, a pickup could even be beautiful. Looking back today, the Coupe Express was a vehicle far ahead of its time. Modern premium trucks with leather interiors, advanced features, and stylish designs follow a philosophy that Studebaker was experimenting with more than 80 years ago. The 1939 Studebaker Coupe Express wasn't created to be the hardest working truck on the road. It was created to prove that a truck could have elegance, it could have style, it could make people stop and look. And that's exactly why this forgotten Studebaker remains unforgettable. A rare combination of art, engineering, and practicality. A pickup that didn't just carry cargo, it carried the imagination of what a truck could become.
Number 7. 1948 Tucker Utility Pickup. When I first discovered the 1948 Tucker utility pickup, I couldn't believe that one of America's most famous automotive dreamers also imagined building a pickup truck. Most people know the name Tucker because of the legendary Tucker 48, the futuristic sedan that challenged the entire American auto industry with ideas decades ahead of its time. But what many people don't know is that Tucker's ambitions went beyond a single passenger car. Behind the scenes, Tucker engineers were exploring different vehicle ideas, including a practical utility pickup. And that makes this truck one of the most mysterious, forgotten projects in automotive history. In the years immediately after World War II, America was entering a new automotive era. People wanted new vehicles, families were growing, businesses were expanding, and manufacturers were racing to create the next generation of automobiles. The big names in Detroit, Ford, Chevrolet, and Chrysler, already had enormous resources and loyal customers. For a new company like Tucker Corporation, competing against those giants required something extraordinary. Tucker didn't want to simply build another ordinary vehicle. The company wanted to create machines that looked toward the future. That same philosophy influenced the idea behind the Tucker utility pickup. At the time, pickup trucks were mostly simple work machines. They were built for farmers, businesses, and tradespeople. They were practical, but rarely innovative. Tucker saw an opportunity. What if a utility vehicle could combine advanced engineering with everyday usefulness? What if a pickup could be more than just a basic work truck? That question led engineers to explore the possibility of a Tucker pickup. Although details about the project are extremely limited today, the idea reflected the same forward-thinking approach that made the Tucker 48 famous. The company wanted something different, something modern, something that could stand apart from traditional trucks. The most interesting part about the Tucker utility pickup is that it came from a company that refused to think normally. Preston Tucker was known for challenging conventional automotive ideas. The Tucker 48 featured a rear-mounted engine, advanced safety concepts, a center headlight that turned with the steering, and a streamlined design unlike anything else on American roads. A Tucker pickup would likely have carried that same spirit of innovation. Instead of simply copying existing trucks, engineers were looking for new solutions. That alone makes the project fascinating. Imagine seeing a Tucker pickup parked next to a Ford or Chevrolet of the late 1940s. It likely would have looked completely different. While traditional trucks focused on rugged simplicity, Tucker's approach was about rethinking what a vehicle could be. Unfortunately, the dream never became reality. The Tucker Corporation faced enormous challenges almost immediately. The company struggled with production problems, financial pressure, and intense opposition from established competitors. The ambitious plans for multiple vehicles never had the chance to fully develop. The famous Tucker 48 sedan itself became one of the rarest American cars ever built, with only a small number completed. The utility pickup project disappeared before it could reach the production stage. And because it never became a real mass-produced vehicle, almost no one remembers it today. That is what makes the Tucker utility pickup so fascinating. It exists somewhere between an idea and a reality. A vehicle that could have changed American truck history, but vanished before anyone had the chance to experience it. Unlike famous pickups that survived because thousands were built, the Tucker pickup became rare before it was even born. There are no long production runs, no large collections, no decades of owners sharing stories about their trucks. Only historical references, engineering ideas, and the mystery of what could have been. Looking back today, the Tucker utility pickup represents one of the greatest what-ifs in automotive history. What if Tucker had survived? What if the company had produced more vehicles? What if this innovative pickup had reached American roads? Nobody knows. But that mystery is exactly what makes it so interesting. The 1948 Tucker utility pickup wasn't famous because it was successful. It was famous because it represented ambition. It showed that even a small company with limited resources could dream bigger than the established giants. It was a reminder that innovation sometimes begins with an idea that never gets the chance to succeed. Today, the Tucker utility pickup remains one of the most mysterious trucks America almost built. A forgotten experiment, a lost chapter of automotive history, and a fascinating reminder that some of the most incredible vehicles are the ones that never made it past the drawing board.